That's what happens. That's what happens. I told you not to come down here, and you did it anyway, and now we're both trapped, and I have to repopulate the earth. I have to recreate and procreate right now. Procreate right now.
Yes, the fresh scent of blowjob incoming. On today's episode of Content Inferno, we got a very special case of dropping an Amber Heard for a second time. You might have heard of this screaming bitch fall into some abuse allegations. That's coming later. But it should be clearly evident about the constant and eternal red flags Hyojin or Squizxy is showing during the course of her YouTube career. Now, I want to preface this by saying this is a fun topic because it's as much fun as me putting a content warning about racism, bullying, and such in the beginning of the video. Feel free to skip with this video if you're uncomfortable with these topics. Yes, it should be definitely fun.
I was gonna put him,
If it wasn't clearly evident from day one, Hyojin is a person who will need some serious therapy. You all have heard of the big elephant in the room, which is Punk Duck's allegations of abuse from Hyojin. I'm not going to read the whole tweet out text because that's been done to death already. But TLDR of the whole situation is, Hyojin often abused her partner Punk Duck by either controlling him psychologically, threatening suicide, or even engaging in physical abuse against him. Now, those who realize how much of a psychotic bitch Hyojin is thanks to these allegations just right now, don't normally realize this has been a pattern of behavior from Hyojin ever since she was known online. She allegedly abused an animal out of funsies. She bullied her friends, especially on Discord. And also, have you seen how she behaves on her streams?
Look at my new VTuber! Yeah, it tastes lovely, Elliot. This VTuber looks so cute, and also, what do you guys think of my new notifications? Someone donate right now.
She's not normal. I know this might sound ableist or something, right? But she's not well in the head. But JMAA, she's doing an internet funny on her videos. Sorry, but behaving like an irrational animal like that isn't the product of an internet funny. It's the product of being mentally ill. I think we got over the schizophrenic type of humor already, so we've grown up enough to not consider it just an internet funny. It's just a mental disorder.
I was gonna put him,
What a lovely person Hyojin is. You know it's really lovely when at this point she never apologized for the huge amount of racial slurs that she threw on Discord. As a progressive, please don't be racist, oh woo.
Fucking die, you fucking N-word!
Lando, stop!
No, fuck those Australians.
You said it in the chat, you fucking idiot!
Dude, what are you fucking black ass?
Oh my god! No!
Okay, get her out of here.
Oh my god! Hyojin!
I have to obviously censor that shit because I don't want Susan Wojcicki to give me a bunk in my head. You see, guys, the funny here is the N-word. Let's just say the N-word. Hehe. Now, here's a primer in internet comedy for Hyojin. There's a certain point where racist jokes and such lose steam because it only exacerbates the status quo of patriarchal white society. Oh yeah, you can call black people N-words for a joke. They weren't totally slaves in plantations. You can make fun of Jews. They didn't end up in concentration camps. Punching down only worsens the situation even more. What's more fun and less icky, and hence funnier, is to punch up. When the oppressors become the butt of the joke, it's really funny because they'll do anything and everything to silence your jokes. But when you make the oppressed the butt of the joke, nothing happens because the same oppression is going on. If you don't want to seriously become yet another 2016 4chan psyop, you gotta stop making racist internet jokes because their only purpose is to normalize oppression in a way that feels as normal as a joke. And if you find racist jokes funny, that's up to you, but don't expect anything else from people like me to call you what you are, a stupid cunt.
I was gonna put him,
Hyojin will very often engage in the most heinous shit, while such heinous shit doesn't hit her. When making racist jokes, she will often hold herself on a pedestal afterwards, calling people out for being racist against her. I can make all the N-word jokes on the planet, but please, don't be racist against me. Falsely accuse a YouTuber of being a pedophile while drawing underage YouTubers in sexual situations. Fucking claiming you were a victim of your parents' abuse while abusing your partner emotionally and physically. You see all the parents, people, it's not hard to understand. The pieces are all together. It sure makes sense.
I was gonna foot him.
And if it wasn't bad enough, whenever Hyojin gets caught in any of these controversies, guess what? She plays victim. If it wasn't clearly evident she's a psychotic weirdo, she threatened to kill herself on Twitter after the pedophilia accusations. And all of a sudden, woe is Hyojin. Instant sympathy. Yeah, it's the same kind of sympathy Hyojin had towards Spunk Dog, by literally threatening to kill herself to him multiple times to emotionally abuse him. By this rate, if you can hear Hyojin threatening suicide to rid herself of guilt, don't feel bad for her. Don't even listen to her, because it's clearly evident she's a manipulative cunt who will even dare to take her own life just to keep the clouds going.
I was gonna foot him.
So, guess what? VRChat and OBS done goofed. Even the VRChat footage is completely broken, so I have to record this final segment in Audacity. I do think as a progressive anarchist that people like Hyojin are putting us progressives in a bad image. In any case, we'll consider her to be a 4chan spy at this point because of the amount of shit it's doing for clout. And now, I want you to take this away from this video. Don't further harass Hyojin at this point. Not just because it's wrong, but because all that unwarranted attention will make her indulge in even worse behavior than ever before. So really, it's for her own good. Hyojin, you are an attention whore. I knew from my past that I did really some regrettable shit to YouTubers like you, Colossal, Parasitical, Tommy C, and such, for which I will apologize, but with you, I don't think I will regret anything, because you're nothing more than a piece of shit scumbag, and I wouldn't say this normally and mean it, but I'm going to say it unironically and actually mean it. Suck my fucking girl dick, Hyojin.
Правда назад, черный каскад. Вижу твой взгляд, стелю на гаяк. Мог тебя взять, но ты не моя. Тогда тебе цена посчитать потери. Суммы нули.